Hi, this is Phil, and I'm here to tell you all about the Capes and Lunatics Patreon. Don't miss out on our comic book creator interviews, including our monthly Chichester chats with comic book legend DG Chichester, superhero movie brackets in our search for the worst comic book movie of all time, and many, many more specials, all completely uncensored. Access starts for $3 a month, full video when you pledge $5 a month. Check out the link in our show notes or go to patreon.com/capesandlunatics. Hope to see you there.
Avast, me hearties, and welcome once again to Full Stream Ahead. I be your Captain Charlie, the Professor, and with me as always is me first mate and skinny rich friend.
It's Mozz.
Hey Mozz, how are you, my friend?
Doing great.
It's always grand to see you as we sail across the Great Dune Sea. In a world of dust and sand that gets everywhere, there is one who rises from the Sarlacc to make his way. He is Boba Fett, and this is the Book of Boba Fett, Season 1, Episode 7, the final episode. Boba Fett and Fennec Shand face an escalating conflict. Our director this week is Robert Rodriguez himself, the king of the cowboys. Jon Favreau gets our created by, George Lucas based on Star Wars by, and Noah Clore, hardest working staff writer in show business this week. All right, Mozz. This is a lot. This is a lot, and this is exciting and fun. And as I recall, this opens up with our good friend. What's her name? Amy Sedaris.
The mechanic.
Yeah, the mechanic.
I just call her the mechanic. I can never remember her name.
Mechanic, yeah. But that just makes you think of the great Charles Bronson film. Yes. Did you ever see that? Where he's like the most elite assassin, and he trains, and it's basically like being the most elite assassin, then you train your next
your replacement.
Your replacement kind of thing. And it is really awesome. But anyway, so we open up with an X-Wing showing up, and I just love her performance in that, where she's just and I just applied for my new Federation, my new Republic license.
Yeah, right as you got here.
Perfect timing, But she goes there, and it's a little Grogu.
No, they're letting you fly now?
Yes, I know the astromech. That was R2 getting very excited. He's like, hey, you know who actually flies these things, right? Which is a great little dig at piloting abilities in this universe, and kind of canonizes the idea that it's not Han Solo who flies the Millennium Falcon, it's the Millennium Falcon that flies the Millennium Falcon, because they uploaded the astromech into the system, and so now that's just a ship that flies itself.
I mean, like most modern planes, really, right? Why would they be?
Well, much more so. It's like, although they've never showed it have independent will to say, get up and fly. It's not like it's Trigger the horse. Although,
right.
Who knows? In future films, they may do that.
It's more the mitigating risk, the evasive maneuvers that are probably hard coded.
Yeah. Well, you saw Solo, the Star Wars story, right?
I did not actually.
Oh, okay. So that's a big plot line. That's a big plot point. Is in it. When Lando has the Millennium Falcon, he has a droid that's the pilot. And that droid is the best pilot, is effectively the best pilot in the grid. Well, he says it's his navigator, but because she's the one that, because her mind has never been wiped, so she has all of the star charts and everything all memorized, and as a result, she can navigate the ship through anything. But as a result, you have this effective reality that the astromechs fly the ships. The people don't fly the ships. You go back to that high fantasy idea. It's not the horseman, it's the horse. The horse is the one going through the thing, and the human is just saying, "Okay, now do a jump and go left." The horse is like, "Yeah, I'll figure that out."
Yeah. That way,
anyways,
I'll get you there.
So, but and again, it ties into this whole high fantasy, and it gives us this idea that yes, the astromechs fly the X-wings, and I guess probably what it is Luke actually fires the guns. So you can give him
Let me focus on the attack.
Yeah.
No, I totally dig it. Let me focus on offense. You focus on defense.
Exactly.
Find me an angle.
That is what they do. But we also get the call out about Grogu as a awful name. I'm never going to call you that.
Yeah. You're like the rest of us.
Yeah, well, you got to have those jokes, There's a lot of fan jokes. And, of course, I'm sure Amy Sedaris is doing a little bit of improv while she's up there. So she's, they're having
if that's
fun.
the case, I'm glad they left it in because that's how we all feel.
Yes, well, exactly. That's the thing. It's, when you, honestly, I still say they should have named him Yaddle because at least it would have had a linguistic relationship to the other Tridactyls we've met, Yodel and, sorry, not Yaddle, but Yiddle. Because you met Yoda and Yaddle, and we could have called him Yiddle, and it would have been
Yodel.
like, oh, okay. Or Yodel. But if you had kept that the US sound, the YD sound in there somewhere, I think people would have been more comfortable with it. But I think the Grogu, as a guttural sound, it didn't fit with the Tridactyls that we've met before. Now, granted, maybe this is just, no, man, Tridactyl culture, it's much more complex than you know. And, they could have called him Brian, for all we know. And, that's the joke. But, the fans want what the fans want.
Hey.
Yeah.
No, we're going to do what we want.
Yeah.
He's still Baby Yoda.
Yeah, well, I still call him Yiddle. I started calling him Yiddle because,
that's what I'm saying.
that's who he is. That's who he is. But we see that he took the mail shirt. So he's got his little baby Beskar chainmail. I love it.
Yeah, it's just like every time he comes on the screen, no matter what he's doing, I can't help but chuckle. Oh.
Yeah. Well, it's an interesting idea with this because, when Luke tells Grogu, a short time for you is a long time for everyone else, he's not lying. It's actually true, but it also, the reverse is true. That, okay, Luke, so, you're going to train other Master Jedi, so I can come back to you in a short time. But I've only got one shot. You're going to start the school. You're going to do this whether I'm here or I'm not.
Right, or there'll be someone else to teach me because probably he's not going to be around either. But if he waits out the lifetime of the Mandalorian, he's probably also waiting out the lifetime of Luke. But, hey, I believe in you. You're going to set up a good school. I'll be back in a couple of years. You might not be, but I'm sure your legacy will live on, and I will be able to benefit from that at that point.
Exactly. And the fact of the matter is that, in truth, Grogu could show up just after Rey buries the lightsabers, and, now that the Jedis have figured out what they're doing, now they're calling themselves the Skywalkers, he can go meet Rey, and he can tell Rey everything he has learned traveling the galaxy as a Mandalorian about the Force, because as we say, the Force flows through all things. Every culture is aware of the Force, even if they don't treat it the same way as the Jedi. And he can show, here is what the Force is to the Mandalorians. And here is how we understand it and how we use our connections to strengthen our existence as Mandalorians. And, just as the Sand People, utilize their connection to the life force and the planet of Tatooine to educate Boba Fett. So, I mean, there's a lot of real beauty in that when you think about it. But it's actually just a very short scene here, and everything else is just fan speculation, which is the best part of any of these things, I think. We do get back to Boba at the Sanctuary. I don't know if we know if what's her name, Jennifer Grey, lived or not. I doubt that. I gotta hope. She's a good actress.
Yeah. She was a great character.
You want her to have been in the back because the droid was taking it to the front at the time, and I don't know how resilient Twi'leks are, but we do get, but we have Boba and Jin Darren, and they're in the place, and Boba says we should go back to the palace because it's more fortified. And his mod gang says, no, it's not a good plan because, you can go and hide in the palace, but these people need to know we're fighting for them. That if we're going to get this town on our side, which is actually a pretty solid truth, that if you just go and run and hide and defend your position, you don't have a position.
Right.
If we're going to take on the Pikes, it has to be in the streets so that people see us fighting for them against the Pikes.
Well, you can't leave them to be unattended or undefended. That's your job, right?
Yeah.
Like, the whole enterprise is about protecting the town, and the town is the people. Without the people, there is no, business to be done. There's no anything to be transacted. So the town is the people, and if that's what you're here to do, this is where you do it.
Exactly. And Boba agrees, and they start working out their plan, and they figure out who's going to be where, and they send Black Chrysanthus. And I love the fact that he's just one guy, but he's like, yeah, Black Chrysanthus, you go in front of City Hall, and the the Aqualish.
Watch out for the Pikes.
I forget who he has to deal with, and because they have, okay, here's who's here and here's who's there,
right?
And of course, all the groups start coming after them because the three houses have decided they're not going to remain neutral anymore. They figure Boba got hit, and we should show our loyalty to the Pikes because we can't let them think we just let Boba run.
Especially if you think that's going to be the winning side.
Exactly.
And it says as much when he tells them that the group's sided against him. He goes, it makes sense. Or like, it's a smart move. That would have been the spot. So he gets it's almost like he can't hold it against them because they're in positions of power. They're responsible for their people too. And I can see how that would seem like the right thing to do for your constituency.
Yeah. And we do get a nice, scene with what is it? Cab Vane. And Boba Fett. Cad Bane, that's right. Yeah, the two of them. See, having a character named Cobb Vance, another called Cad Bane, to me, it just seems hard,
Yeah.
You're just making my life hard. You're putting too many similar sounds in the same place. And then you put them in the same scene. It makes it harder.
I thought it was nice and kind of cool the way he got to take him out using his stick from the people. I did feel like it was a little. I expected more from Cad Bane, like for all the lore and all the, and I just expected more of a fight from him, like especially with the confidence that he walked in and out of any situation. It's like, I wish you would. Right, I'm not going to look at you. I'm just hoping, I'm praying, please do it, That's
an important point, though, because I actually think this is my fan theory. Cad Bane wanted to go out with his boots on. And the whole time, it's him trying to find someone that could kill him in a good fight. Because, like he says, he's 70 years old. He's a really old gunslinger, and that's a young man's game. And you can fight it forever, but the fact of the matter is, and he is still fast with a gun, but he also knows, first off, a gun isn't that useful against the armor, That's one of the biggest things about it.
And I thought he was going to have like a Beskar bullet or something. The way he was talking, he's like, oh yeah, we'll find out. I was like, oh no, he's got Beskar rounds or something. And it's going to tie back to the, they can't be Beskar offensive weapons. Well, I'm sure just like vibranium gets stolen all the time,
Yeah, and all the Beskar got stolen. That's the whole point. That's why they cherish what Beskar they can get, because it's so hard to get Beskar anymore.
So yeah, it seems like if you have Beskar, it'd be nice to make armor, but it'd be also pretty cool to have some weapons made of it. So in case you encounter another Beskar Laden warrior, you can pierce his armor with no problem.
Yeah, but
which almost seems like a disadvantage for the Mandalorians, because other people are out there probably making Beskar weaponry, offensive weaponry, and they're just over here like, behind the race.
Well, actually, what I will say is I think that Beskar is rare enough that although you could, it's sort of like,
Yeah, fair enough.
At a certain point, they started just making adamantium bullets everywhere in the Marvel Universe. We're like, we have our adamantium rounds, and they're just like firing a heavy machine gun at the hull with adamantium rounds. Not that it slows them down, or not that it hurts them, it just slows them down like a little bit.
So if you were to make it, is Beskar an alloy, or is it an elemental?
No, Beskar is, I believe, it's supposed to be like a pure element. That's why they can melt it down and reutilize it. It's recyclable.
Right. So if at any point they were to make an alloy with Beskar, it would only weaken it. There's no chemical scenario where it would strengthen it, right?
Not that
hypothetically speaking.
Not that anyone thinks. In fact, I think that Durasteel, one of its components is Beskar, because that's how you would stretch it. Is you would make
right. It would inherently be a weaker version of it.
Yeah.
But
still
further
strong.
Or whatever. Yeah. Well, of course.
It's like titanium
but
steel.
What I'm saying
is
no alloy or something someone can make that would be able to pierce it.
Right, exactly.
Okay, got it. Yeah, right on.
Yeah. Although, as we know from Boba Fett's helmet, you can dent it. Because if something has enough power behind it, you could dent it.
Yeah, so like that's the thing I thought they were giving us. I was like, I almost got you last time. This time I got something better because I learned from my mistakes because I'm smart. And guess what I've got now? And I was like, nothing paid off.
But like I said, I think his thing was he wanted to face off again. I think he was looking for that good fight. He was looking for that, because that's the thing.
But like, if you're looking for that good fight, you got to bring the good fight too. You got to be fighting the fight of your life. That's worth.
He's fighting his regular fight, and look, it's like Boba Fett. There's holes in that armor. There's ways, and he's a good shot. He could probably shoot between the plates, and that's what you got to do. But what I'm saying is, he intentionally antagonizes Boba Fett at their first meeting. That's where he makes the point, like, your people weren't killed by biker gang. They were killed by the Pikes, of course. What, you didn't know that? Because he's intentionally trying to goad Boba Fett into action, and that's why Fennec Shand calms him down and says, no, you have to do it on your time, not on his, But it's really, he is just constantly he is happy to betray the Pikes and give Boba this secret, because he's hoping it's going to get Boba to attack him. Because he wants to go out, and he knows this is his last stand. So I was fully impressed by Cad Bane. I can buy that. Every fight he goes into, he is only beaten because he goes in with Boba Fett at close quarters, and a gun doesn't do you much in close quarters. And even then, it's like not his armor or anything else. It's his what do you call it? Bantha stick? Yeah. His Sand People's Warrior, and he just jams it into the guy's chest. Which, again, we don't even know if it's fatal. Because we did see he has that little blinking red dot there. That could be life support,
And that's the reason he has those things around his neck, right? Yeah. So he can't be force choked. So maybe he has some other clever way of avoiding that. Or maybe his lungs aren't over there. Maybe his heart's not over there. Maybe it's a deep wound, but...
Yeah, well, but that's the idea. I like Fennec. It's weird because they say, okay, so Fennec, they say, well, you have to take out the head. And are they still in the Desert Assessor's office? Yeah, and so they
and I love my favorite part about that whole thing was that they had somebody on an adult bike that can go adult speeds.
Yes.
So we got to see that. I was like, oh, okay, so they know the difference between slow and fast.
Yeah. No, like I said, the teenagers. First off, you think they could afford a speeder bike?
It'd have been much cooler if they did.
It would have been cooler if they, but that's
all I'm saying.
Even Luke Skywalker was just basically driving the family station wagon.
Yeah, no, there's certain points where you need to amp up the realism and whatnot, and there's certain points where you just want it to look cool. That was that was one of those things. I just wanted it to look cool. I didn't need it to make sense.
Yeah, well, but I guess the counter argument is that the mod bikers, it looked cool and it made sense because it was these kids that weren't working, and what little they had, they put into these, these little dinky, scooters. But that's what they could afford, and that's all they needed for what the work they were doing, and and if they were going to have it, they were going to make them be the best that there ever was.
Well,
that's one theory. Anyway, but
so she goes to kill the Pikes, and that's when we get what are those things called? The big robots that they dropped in the town.
I believe they're called Scorpionoids. Tristan, what were the big battle droids they drop in the final scene of Book of Boba Fett? Those Scorpion X. Scorpion X droids, yeah. Yeah, they're the more advanced version of the original droids that came after Qui-Gon and Obi-Wan.
Right.
Yeah, they lost the speed advantage that the old models had, but they had the stronger force fields, and which is that was the thing.
So, what percentage of the Pikes invasion force do you think that represented? Do you think that was how in Voltron, they try to fight them individually. Okay, that's not working. Let's form together. Power Rangers, they all fight them in their human form. Like, all right, fine, that's not working. Zord time. Then they try to, okay, fine, that's not working. Let's get together, make a giant, whatever. So was that their last, was that representing the full force of what the Pikes brought to Tatooine?
Yeah, I think this was what they brought to Tatooine. This is what they thought. This is going to be enough to it. Because it
makes sense. They didn't expect a Rancor or a Mandalorian, a real one.
Yeah. Yeah. They thought, and man, I'm sorry. Not know why I'm coughing so much today. But they obviously thought they were going to be going in for a nice, easy job. Mm-hmm. They're going to go in. They're going to knock over, this local daimyo, as you do, and you're going to set yourself up, and going to make everybody think twice before you decide you're the new daimyo. And at first they thought they could handle it, and then it turned out they couldn't. As suddenly this guy starts muscling in on their territory, and then they have to bring in the heavy guns, And in truth, I think that was the whole thing with the Hutts. The first scene is that once Boba took over the seats, the other two Hutts said, "Well, I guess we can go take it back too," because for what it's worth, they are Hutts, and they figure they can take out one Boba Fett. Two Hutts against one Boba Fett when they've got a Black Chrysanthus and a Rancor just in their back pocket. It's something they can do, and they tried and it failed, and they said, "Yeah, you know what?" And again, it's not worth the effort. Now, the question is will the Pikes come back? And the question is, what is the value of what is the value of Tatooine to the Pikes? And are they going to be able to deal with the New Republic marshals coming in?
Now, is that the only place, Tatooine, is that the only place that spice is found?
Well, we don't know if the spice is found there or if it's just a trafficking route. It seems odd, because they say, spice is mined on Kessel. But just because spice is mined on Kessel doesn't mean it can't be mined elsewhere. And it's also possible, and this is it's also possible that there's something similar to spice on Tatooine that's not spice, but you can essentially step on that quality Kessel spice, and you mix it in with that Tatooine spice, and maybe you even get a little spice crack out of the deal. So it's like, yeah, you know, we mix the Tatooine and the Kessel, and we get this new stuff, and that's a new kind of spice. That was oregano. This is rosemary, you know? And so that's, you know,
Spice rock.
That's 7 herbs and spices, man.
And I was surprised that when the villagers showed up, that Cobb Vanth was not with them. Mm-hmm. Like, Cobb Vanth is the type of guy, even if he was injured, even if he was missing an arm, he would not miss this opportunity. The fact that he wasn't there. And I mean, they didn't explicitly say that he's dead. They just avoided the, answering of the question. But
they did say he shot. Well, no, they did. They said
he's dead.
We didn't say he's dead. He said he shot him or he took him out. He used some phrase, but as we saw,
right. But I just can't believe that they made such a point to show you that he got shot in the shoulder. Why would they kill him with a shot to the shoulder?
Well, and it might have been that he was just, and it's sort of like. Yeah, I mean, it's odd that he didn't show up, but then again, he might not have been in any condition to fight. So
right.
He might have been,
I guess.
That's the thing. It's like you don't want a person who is not in a condition to fight. If you don't want that person, not everyone is a Wookiee with a healing factor, where one scene his like foot is bent back in half, and the next one he's fine. It's Wookiees, man. They're like Wolverines. That's the whole point of Wookiees. It's like, to me, it was, that's so unreal. It's like, no, it's not. That's totally in keeping with what we've seen with these characters, where they get, these are characters that are just covered in fur, getting laser bolts.
They're essentially werewolves. Do you think a sprained ankle is going to stop a werewolf?
Yeah, exactly. He just shakes it off. And I think there's even that scene where, Boba says, "I owe you a good long soak in my back to tank," and I kind of feel like, it's like who you think needs a back to tank, man? This, I'm gonna shake this off in 2 minutes, man. You want?
Yeah.
But and you get the two because it's just that idea that when they are dogpiling on Black Chrysanthus. When we get that whole, oh no, we're all losing, the only ones that you really felt bad were of course, the pig guards. Because they went off that cliff. We didn't see them back again. I was like,
whoa, really?
Those guys, we didn't see them back. So I
mean, that was a mighty fall.
That was. I guess that was their way of saying, hey, anyone can die. Because we know who the pig guards are. We've been seeing the pig guards for years, so... It would be a shock if the pig guards didn't, at least if one of them didn't make it back, But they just, both of them, get rid of them.
I mean, it'd have to be some miraculous circumstances that avoid death from a fall from that, height.
Yeah. No, exactly. And I think that was their way. And I think that's how they really upped the stakes for us. Because when that happens, and then Black Chrysanthus is getting the dog pile, and you start thinking, oh, wow, a lot of these people could die. Boba could die, because you realize, what? Does Tamir Morrison want to do season 2? Or, is that even practical for the character? What are they going to do next? And that's the question. And that's what we were supposed to be asking as it goes through this. What did you think about the scenes with the attaché?
He's one of my favorite characters ever.
Yeah.
He's such a great character, and the guy playing him is so good. So good. Yeah. That scene where he has to walk out and he's so full of himself. And he's like, I solved the whole problem. I'm going to get so much gold. You could see the self-satisfaction as he walks out. And he's like, and I've started feeling bad for him. I was like, this poor guy, he's just trying to be, a go-between, a fixer. He's just trying to, and then this poor guy is getting run underneath. So I started to feel bad for him in that moment.
Yeah, but he made it through.
Yes, he did. Yes, he did.
And I also just loved I loved you can see there's so much to him where it's like, you may not know this, but I was educated on Coruscant. This is not going to make you any better, and it's an interesting thing, because really, this is an interesting thing apparently about Twi'leks, is that they do normally have a very heavy accent. Most Twi'lek, and they're kind of, they're very different. They're not although we've seen a lot of, yes, fine. Okay. You have a mother you can ask, too, who isn't doing a podcast right now. Anyway, where was I? But no, so there's a whole thing in there, and the fact that when he says his parents were by no means wealthy, I get the feeling he was a kid who was a hard scrabble guy, got himself to Coruscant, got educated, learned about diplomacy and things like that, takes his assignment, in Tatooine, and it's like, and he gets a good gig. He's attaché to the mayor of a pretty important town where a lot of
occasionally he has to pull out of his back pocket his groveling skills. Oh, I'm very good at it, and I don't mind doing it at all. I'll save you all the shame. I'll go out and grovel for you.
Yeah, well, and to be fair, that's a skill. That is something you want in this business. So he has it. He does it. He does a good job at it. So I like that. And I just like it. And you realize how much he probably gets. Because, it's an unfortunate reality of the Twi'leks is that we mostly see them in major domo roles or in servile positions. They're servitors. Butlers and dancing girls. And, and we see even the Twi'leks men, can I polish your helmet, sir? And there's this clear thing that, the Twi'leks as a people probably are kind of put upon by all the humanoids, and all of them, like even the, the ones that look human, it's like they look too human to the ones that are, have more animalistic qualities, but they look too animalistic for humans. So everyone is down on the Twi'leks. And so, when he says, "Oh, tailhead," a lovely sobriquet of which I never tire hearing, and you can just imagine, like, oh, wow, I bet you that is super, super offensive when you call them that. And it's like, but here he has to say, "Oh, delightful, sir. Thank you." She said nice head tails, yes. So that was different. But, that's the mechanic hitting at him because, hey.
No, she can get away with it because I think he likes her.
Yeah, well, and
I want to see the two of them together. I think that would be hilarious.
I think that'd be a delight. I think,
Oh, yeah. But like such polar opposites, it would be such fun to watch.
I believe they both know each other from Upright Citizens Brigade. I'm not 100% certain of that, but I believe that was what I had heard, that they're actually both people that came through Upright Citizens Brigade, and, that they have training together. So that's good. And I love the fact that, they do pull from these improv groups to inject this humor into stories. It makes for really well watchable programs. There is, they're pinned down the need reinforcements. And I just loved the idea that Boba Fett says, "I think I know where I can get reinforcements." And of course, a lot of people were waiting for we're going to get an army of sand people coming. There's going to be something.
Right.
Part of me was thinking he was going to call the marshals because the marshals need to keep order. And the fact of the matter is the marshals don't like the spice trade either. And he's saying, "I'm trying to get rid of the spice trade. I'm going legit as a daimyo. I'm going to take my 10%, don't get me wrong, but we're not going to be moving the spice anymore." There were lots of things I was thinking. I was not expecting him to come out with the Rancor, but I did enjoy the Rancor.
I don't know how I didn't see that coming.
Well, because, I guess, it's Chekhov's Rancor is what it is. It's you're going to show a Rancor. You need to, if you show it Rancor in the first movie, you got to have it pay off by the otherwise don't put the Rancor there. Although I do think the Rancor actually had served its purpose before that. Because we really never saw an offensive use of a Rancor prior to that. So I think that was a different choice there. And we see him riding the Rancor, and he's good at it. You got to give him that. He's good. Somehow he's really good at riding Rancors.
Well, yeah, they have a special bond. He knows who's up there. Yeah.
And again, it shows that idea that it's not the rider, it's the horse. It's the Rancor knows what it's doing. When he says, Rancor, hit that thing, the Rancor is the one that's actually making the choice. Right. He's not like controlling it. He's, he is just sort of guiding it, and the thing knows what to do because they have the bond, which is awesome, of course.
And I love that you saw like how it's still a baby, right? Still got afraid and like he's so powerful, but like just fire all of a sudden. He's like, what are you doing? Get away from me! You had to calm him down, and
Yeah, and he gets into his and I did like how they do take out the how they have to take out the Scorpion X droids, and how it is that whole thing where you can't
penetrate it, but
if you go slow enough or if you put enough power on it, and that was the idea, is that if you just slowly push the power through, you can do it. And of course, once they have to redirect the force from the front to the back, then you can come in the back, because now the back is weak, and that's of course what Din Djarin does with the black saber, with the dark saber. That's pretty awesome. And I love when Grogu has to save Din Djarin, he just pulls the nut out of it, which is also just sort of that great thing. I was waiting for him to just, crush it, like
yeah.
But no, he doesn't do that. But he just takes the nut out because he's still a baby, and and we also don't want him to be lashing out with anger,
right?
Which is what he learned with Luke, because in the end, when the Rancor is on its rampage and it's doing its King Kong thing, rather than attacking it with the Force, he just calms it with the Force, and it goes Betty bye, and it goes to sleep. And then of course, we do get that final scene where the cavalry, Shannik Fan, or Fennec Shand, basically takes out the entire Pike Syndicate and the mayor, and just completely decimates the whole thing.
Yeah. His big old floppy furry feet hanging down. That was great.
Oh yeah, it was beautiful, and it just that's the thing. They put Ming-Na Wen in there, and it's like that's her job now. She is just the BA. It's like they're gonna call you in. You're gonna be the BA. You're cold. You're calculating. You're a killer. And
someone needs getting got. And call Fennec Shand.
And she's good at it. She's very good at it, and I do like that about her. We get a little after the party scene, and true to form, even though lots of people died, even though their city is in ruins, everyone respects Boba, because Boba stood up for
them,
for the people of Freetown, for Maz Pesca, for Maz Eisley. Everyone knows.
He even got Freetown recognized as Freetown.
Yeah, exactly. I'm really hoping they do season 2. I want to see our attaché, now the mayor of
who better?
Pesca. Yeah,
who better? Honestly,
who better? And it already has a relationship with Boba, and it's like, I fought against the Pikes when our former administration was seeking only dirty spice money. I fought back.
And he knows all the back alleyways of what makes the city move and what moves the city.
Exactly. So I think it's going to be very nice. We're going to have that. We're going to have.
Oh, imagine the mechanic living in the governor's mansion.
Well, we'll see what happens. We're going to see what happens. In those 2 Star-Crossed levels, maybe they'll make it work. Maybe they won't.
Yeah.
Any port in a storm. Well, and but it'll be nice to see where we go with it. It'll be nice. And like I said, there's a lot they could do to build off of it. I don't know if we'll get another Book of Boba Fett, or if it's just going to be a recurring storyline in because they are doing the Space Marshals one, the X-Wings, because we got our same guy. We got our same patrol officer.
Maybe Boba will now help carry other shows across the finish line.
Yeah, well, that's the idea. Is that you build out this universe because it is a universe,
right? And who knows when we might need to come back to it? But it's waiting for us.
For whatever it's worth, though Luke described it as the planet the furthest away from the glowing light at the center of the universe, lots of stuff seems to happen on Tatooine. All seems to come back to Tatooine. It's almost as if it's the Axis Mundi, if it is the fountainhead of the Force itself, perhaps. And then, of course, we do get it's a mid-credit scene of Cobb Vanth in the Bacta tank.
I missed that. I forwarded through it. I didn't see anything. I was like, oh, there's nothing. I forwarded a little bit. I totally didn't catch it. Golly.
Oh, never fast forward the credits,
man. Oh, man. All right, what happens in the thing?
He's in the Bacta tank. He's got a weird little black turtleneck on.
Oh.
It's weird. And people commented on it. His hair's all done, and but he's like, you don't see the arm that got hit, so we don't know if he still has that arm. And yeah, the mod guy. Remember the guy who did the mod work on Fennec Shand?
Oh yeah.
And then you see him getting his arm tools out to work on Cobb Vanth.
Oh.
Yeah, it could be that it's got.
If he gets a gun attached to his hand, no one will ever draw faster. He's already drawn.
Exactly. I mean, we can hope so. It's going to be interesting, whatever they do with it. Anyway.
Man, oh man.
Yeah, just realized I forgot to get my stuff out here. But any final thoughts on tonight's episode, Mozz?
No, I'm just super excited. The team is back together, Grogu and Mando, and they're off to find adventure, and I can't wait to see where they go.
Oh yeah, and we are gonna get that Mandalorian season 3 electric.
I want to see a teenage Grogu.
Yeah, well, he's gonna get there. I mean, there are people that were like, "Oh, he's gonna be because it's gonna take him a while to be a teenager. He's really gonna be like more of a tween Grogu. He's gonna be more of an adolescent Grogu." He might start talking a bit, and it'll be interesting because as people have pointed out, that Yoda talks the way he does because that was the way people talked 900 years ago. So he's going to start. So he's actually probably going to talk relatively normally, but he'll probably have like a very Mandalorian cadence, It's like, this is the way, and that's going to be, that is just that very, very focused way of approaching the world. But, that's going to be awesome. And yeah, I mean, I really cannot wait to see what we get from that. Anyway, so everyone out there in TV land, just so you know, you are listening to Full Stream Ahead on the Capes and Lunatics Network. We are a united front with Capes and Lunatics Sidekicks, and many other programs that you will love. If you go to Linktree, that's linktr.ee/Capes and Lunatics, you can see links to all of our shows, all of our merch, and our Patreon. Likewise, if you want to write to any of our shows and let us know what you think about any of the pop cultural ephemera that we discuss, you can write to us in an old-fashioned email way, the way our mothers and fathers once did, at capesandlunatics@gmail.com. That's capesandlunatics, all one word, at gmail.com. And you can even call us and leave us a voice message, which we will play on the air so long as you are polite and don't swear, at 614-382-2767. I'm sorry, 614-382-2737. At 614-38-CAPES. I'm looking right at it, and I still said it wrong. And if you do swear on it, we might play it on the Patreon. So that's that. Mozz, if anyone has any thoughts and they'd like to reach out to you and talk to you about all this, how can they find you?
Oh, they can email me at mozzmanzor@gmail.com or find me on Facebook under Mozz Manzor. That's MOZZMANZOOR.
And, of course, you can always write to me in that old-fashioned email way the way our mothers and fathers once did, or our Mozz and Paws once did, as I used to say, until Tristan started thinking I was always saying writing to Mozz.
Right.
at superconnectivityblog@gmail.com. That's superconnectivityblog, all one word, @gmail.com. Of course, follow me on Twitter as I live tweet things like Naomi, 9 o'clock on Tuesday nights when it's new, which means after the whole Super Bowl fiasco mess, and once you get back to new television, at Charlie Esser, that's CHARLIE. Yes, SCR. Look for the 2 E's in the middle.
For quality. Bing!
Thank you, Mozz. Alrighty then, me hearties. You've come across the Sargassus of the Book of Boba Fett. It has come to a close, but we are not done, and next week we will set sail once again to see what other treasures there be lying, as we once again sail full stream ahead. Arr.